So now that Crypto has officially been out for a good while, people are now starting to realize where he fits into the meta and how good this legend is compared to other legends. Now, Crypto is unique because Crypto has an ability which gives him a vantage point that no other legend has been able to have before. And this vantage point is, of course, to see through his drone into high areas or to check something through safety without having to check himself. And this is the second legend in a row, actually, that goes against what Apex is known for, which is rushing and just all out gunfights, pretty much. Watson being the first, she actually slowed down the game a good amount. If you guys played ranked at all during the other season, I'm sure a lot of you have realized that rank was extremely slow because a lot of the times people had like Caustic or a Watson on their team, and they were able to bunker down and just kind of wait for people to push them. Now, the same can be said for Crypto in some way, but it's not as campy as Watson, for example. Crypto can actually be used pretty aggressively if you do have a team that you can coordinate with. And I actually think that with a good team, Crypto can be one of the best legends in the game. I do think he's probably top five in my opinion, but I'm gonna see where I can fit that, where I can fit Crypto into the tier list. But for the most part, I think Crypto is extremely strong, and he's a really good support role, probably the best one you can play in my opinion. And that is due to the fact that his abilities give him incredible support, and he has a small hitbox. So not only can he play really really good backup for your teammates and be a really good scout, but he's also pretty lethal in a gunfight since he is very small and he is actually very hard to hit. Now, I find Crypto really hard to rank in a tier list because there is a weird way, or there is a weird little patch where he can be the worst legend in the game if you don't know how to play him correctly. And by this, I mean that even though he could be considered a defense or offensive character, depending on how you play him, I think that you can play him extremely aggressively and still be successful as long as you can coordinate with your team. But you can play him too defensively, if you know what I mean. If you just sit back and use your drone and wait for people to push you, a lot of the times it will work, but it's not the best thing to do. And people will catch on, especially if you have your drone in the air. People are going to hear it and they realize that somebody's there and they might be waiting for an ambush. So a lot of the time, that's kind of what throws people off whenever they are trying to use him in a very, very defensive way. So I feel like he can either be used lightly defensive, average, or very offensive. And that's pretty much up to the player at this point. A lot of the players tend to play very defensive when they play him, especially when they're new Crypto players. And that can really be a detriment to your team because if you're on your drone while your team is fighting, then your team's going to get bodied and you're not going to be of any use to that. There's a lot of Cryptos out there that don't, pick up their gun and they actually stay on their drone when they should be helping their teammates by, shooting at the enemies, which is the most important thing to do. So, in other words, I guess what I'm trying to say is that Crypto has to be used by a very veteran player in order to get the most out of him. Unlike other legends, he is very call out based, he's very support based. If you're not using a mic and you're playing with randoms and you're not giving out call outs on things you see, then you're gonna have a pretty bad time. Now, Apex does have these really good signals and pings that you can use to like try to tell your team what's going on, but that isn't gonna be enough to be a great crypto player. You have to be, you have to time your attacks, and that comes especially when with his ult. Now, Crypto's ult is probably one of the most argued ults in the game because people can't tell if it's good or not. And to be completely honest, the reason they can't tell is because it's both. If you use this ult horribly, then I mean it's gonna be bad. Like it's not like Gibraltar where you can just throw out your ult and you can either if you hit them you do damage. If you don't, you keep them out. It's kind of like a I don't know, like it can cover a lot of stuff. But this one, if you don't time it correctly, or if you use it when you're too far away from the enemy team, then it's worthless, and people are just gonna heal up, and it's not gonna do anything, and you're just gonna waste it. This ult has to be used before you push, or as they're pushing you, and it has to be coordinated with your team. If not, there's gonna be no reason for you to use this ult at all. And I feel like that's the reason people are kind of on the fence about it, because people that don't like it are probably not using it correctly, and the people that do like it are using it very very well, and probably have a team or probably communicate with whoever they're playing with what they're about to do. That way they can attack together. So at the end of the day, my personal opinion on Crypto is that he's an extremely good legend, and I think I am going to rank him right now. I do have a tier list that I'm going to put at the end of the video, that way you can have a reference of where I'm going to put him. But in my personal opinion, I think that Crypto is the third best character in the game, only behind Lifeline and Pathfinder, of course. Now, Pathfinder did have a recent nerf where his grapple speed is not as fast, but he's still the best character in the game. Let's not lie to ourselves. The way that character is built, he's just going to be the best character in the game no matter what, unless they completely ruin his grapple. But I think Crypto is up there for sure. He's one of the best characters in the game if used correctly. And I've actually had a lot of fun with him. He's been extremely fun to play. He's very useful, even though, I don't know, I think he's going to get nerfed because he can call his drone way too fast. His drone just comes back way too fast after being destroyed, and it's just pretty much too good. Usually, whenever I get into a fight, I just kind of just leave my drone in the air and it'll scan everybody for me. So it's kind of like having Bloodhound's like ability, but non-stop if they are in sight of the drone. That is. So he's just a really good character, and I think he's gonna get even better. I feel like people haven't realized his full potential, and people are gonna find stuff out that's gonna make him an even better legend. But I do think he's gonna get nerfed, and hopefully it's not bad because I think he's really close to being a good character, not too OP. Because he's not broken. Like he's not a broken character. He's just a little bit. He has a little bit too much. What's the word for it? A little bit too much utility, I guess, that a lot of other legends don't have. And this puts your team at a huge advantage, especially when you play ranked and everybody's playing more methodically. So yes, at the end of the day, he is the third best in my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you guys disagree, let me know. And let me know if you like Crypto or not, and what you think about his ultimate and his abilities. Do you think he needs a nerf, or do you think that he's fine the way he is? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, guys, this is The Cure. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. P.S. If you do want to see my latest tier list, it'll be right here in the square for you to view, and I hope y'all enjoy it. Have a good one, guys.